Since the Civil War, the three most important days in American history are December 7, 1941, September 11, and January 6. And we don't need the years for the last two because we know what happened. They aren't dates on the calendar, they're scar tissue. And as you just said, Ms. Hemphill, we saw them unfold live and in terrifying detail with our own eyes. But 5 years later, Donald Trump has pardoned the insurrectionists. The steps have been cleaned, the broken glass has been repaired, and because the 22nd Amendment says he can't run again, maybe we exhale. If this country had one word that defined its march higher, it wouldn't be liberty or justice, it would be next. Because we have a tendency to just move on so quickly from the tragedies that define us. We have a tendency to not look back, but I can't do that. I'm the son of a cop, the brother of cops, a former prosecutor who stood up in a courtroom defending the idea of the people. But you don't need a badge on your chest to know that January 6th was a moral crater. You don't need a law degree on your wall to know that in a country like ours, we don't tolerate violence. You don't choose the criminal over the constable. What Trump is attempting to do is to gaslight a nation on an industrial scale. It's the same playbook the fringe theorists used after September 11. They told us there were no planes. They told us it was holograms, missiles, a controlled demolition. We didn't buy that nonsense then, and we cannot whitewash history now. Ms. McCord, I was hoping you'd engage in a hypothetical with me and put aside the politics. Picture George Bush. Remember him standing on the pile of twisted steel at Ground Zero, his arm around a retired firefighter, holding that bullhorn. He bucked us up. He gave us a spine when ours was fractured. Now, imagine if he had been the one to incite the attacks. Imagine if he had held a rally in Battery Park 10 minutes before impact. Imagine if he had pointed at the towers and told a seething, armed crowd to fight like hell, to stop the steal, and make them do the right thing. Could January 6th have happened if Donald Trump had not called to assemble the mob?
I think that it could not, Representative Swalwell, and I think Jack Smith's testimony during his deposition recently makes that very clear. The evidence amassed about what Donald Trump knew, how many people, Republicans included, had told him there was no fraud in the election that's significant enough to change the results. His own attorney general had told them that. He called the crowd knowing that they responded to his dog whistles, and when he knew there was violence, when he knew that his own vice president was in danger, dire danger, that the mob had erected a gallows and said, "Hang Mike Pence," he let things continue and continued to let things continue. And according to Jack Smith's testimony the other day and the indictments, even the night after, the night of January 6th, he was still agitated. And we know that because 5 years later, he continues to propound those lies. I don't think, just for the record, George W. Bush would have ever said anything like that. Whatever policy disagreements those in this room may have with him, he is a man of integrity who would have never done such a thing.
Agreed. And on January 6th, what you just described is what happened. That's reality. It's important that we tackle the future. More than ever, it's coming at us at a breathtaking speed. But if we don't acknowledge a past wound, it stays poisoned. If we don't right these wrongs, we don't just get a repeat of January 6th, we get January 7th and 8th. And the country we are barely holding on to now will slip forever through our fingers. It doesn't matter who you voted for. Our job, our civic sacrament, is to reject the comforting lie, even when it comes from our friends, as Pamela Hemphill has told us. So we remember, we don't look away. We treat the day with the same reverence, the same sorrow, and the same resolve as the day the towers fell, because the moment we forget is the moment we, as a country, also fall. And I yield back.